Hidden beneath an obscure footpath in Plymstock lies the memory of a railway long forgotten. Where once stood a bustling station, now there's little more than whispers of the past. But if we look closely, we can still uncover its story. Plymstock Station was once an important stop on the London and South Western Railways branch from Plymouth Friary. Opened in 1892, it served as a vital link for passengers and freight, connecting the expanding suburbs to the growing railway network. But Plymstock had another story, a tale of rivalry between two railway giants. This station wasn't just an LSWR outpost. It was also part of the Great Western Railway's Yealmpton Branch. For decades these two companies competed fiercely, their lines crisscrossing Devon in an attempt to dominate the region's transport. The LSWR aimed to push deeper into GWR territory, and Plymstock became a shared battleground where both companies ran their services side by side. Though the station has long since vanished, we can still trace its footprint. Using old maps and modern satellite imagery, we can reveal exactly where the platforms once stood, and where the tracks disappeared into history. Very little remains of Plymstock Station, but if you know where to look, there are still signs of its existence. From disused embankments to the faint outlines of old railway infrastructure, the past is never truly lost. From above, the path of the old railway is still clear. Though trains no longer run, the trackbed has found a new purpose. The old Great Western Railway line from Plymstock to Yealmpton now serves as a cycle path, shadowing the busy Billicombe Road. To the left, new housing developments have risen where steam trains once passed, and to the right a modern supermarket stands on ground that once echoed with the sounds of industry and freight. This line, once a vital rural connection, has been reshaped by time, but its course through the landscape remains unmistakable. The old London and South Western Railway line from Plymstock to Turnchapel has almost vanished beneath modern development. Where the trains once ran, a roundabout and a McDonald's now stand, wiping away much of the original trackbed. But if you follow the path carefully, the railway's route re-emerges, snaking its way past Orreston and towards the once busy docks at Turnchapel. Though little remains today, this line once carried sailors, workers and supplies to the Royal Navy, a lifeline for Plymouth's maritime industry. Another railway lost to time, but not quite erased from the landscape. The competition between the LSWR and the GWR led to the duplication of some services, but it also meant that, for a time, this station thrived with traffic from both companies.
Henry!
Yeah?
Come over here!
What is it?
It's a railway track.
Well, what do you think is here? Why do you think that? Why is there a railway track here?
Because it used to be a railway?
Exactly. So, do you like learning about railways?
Yes!
Do you love railways?
Yes.
Yeah, they're so cool, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not really what you expect to find in the middle of a housing estate, but the gravel I'm walking on at the moment was part of the original trackbed. Here, where Plymstock Station pretty much stood, these rails here are all that remains of that station, what used to be a bustling hub of railway activity. Let's go and see what else we can find. There's hardly any evidence of the station and the tracks anymore, but this part where the path curves is where the GWR line to Yealmpton diverged, whereas on the other side of the platform, just out of shot, is where the line to Turnchapel, the LSWRs, ran.
At its peak, Plymstock saw passenger services running regularly, with steam trains weaving their way across the South Devon landscape. But as the years passed, inevitably, the railway's importance declined. The rise of road transport and convenience of buses chipped away at passenger numbers. The station temporarily closed to passengers in January of 1951, reopened briefly in July but then shut its doors again in September of that same year. By the 1960s, and even before the beaching cuts, the station was doomed and permanently closed its doors in 1961, fading into history. The Second World War also left its mark here. In March of 1941, Plymstock Station suffered damage during a bombing raid, with its signal box and ticket office destroyed. Swift repairs kept the station operational, but the war years only hastened the decline of railway services in this region. Today, the site is quiet. The sound of train whistles has largely been replaced by the hum of traffic and the rustling of trees. But for those who stand here and listen closely, the echoes of the past might just come alive once more.
Look how old this is. It's 1934. Why is it so old?
Well, Oliver, because this never used to be a cycle path. It used to be a railway line.
Henry, where did this railway go to?
It went to Yealmpton. Come on, Oliver. Let's see what else we can find.
This bridge is one of a few along the route, which, now repurposed for the cycle path, are pretty much the only conclusive clues that a railway line ever ran along here. But if we know where to look, we can find a few others.
To understand why Plymstock Station was built, we have to go back to the railway boom of the late 1800s. By the 1880s, railways were expanding across the country, connecting rural areas with the fast-growing towns and cities. Plymouth was a key battleground for the railway companies looking to extend their networks further into Devon and Cornwall. The London and South Western Railway saw an opportunity. By constructing a branch line from Plymouth Friary, they could tap into the growing demand for passenger and freight transport in the Plymstock and surrounding areas. The station officially opened in 1892, serving as a vital link between the developing suburban areas and the industrial hubs of Plymouth. But Plymstock wasn't just a passenger stop, it was a freight hub. The station played a crucial role in moving limestone from the nearby quarries, supplying the ever-expanding docks and industries of Plymouth. The docks themselves depended on a steady flow of building materials, and Plymstock's rail link made that possible. At its peak, Plymstock Station handled a variety of goods, from agricultural produce to coal and stone. Its goods yard was always busy, with trains constantly arriving and departing, delivering supplies to the industries that powered the local economy. The station was more than just a stop along the line. It was an economic lifeline for the surrounding community. Passenger services also flourished, with trains running frequently between Plymouth and the rural villages beyond. For many, the railway was the easiest way to travel to the city for work and leisure. It provided a direct, reliable connection in an era before car ownership became widespread. Indeed, one could look at the situation now and wonder, was a cycle path really the best use of the land? The station had its own ticket office, waiting room and a signal box, modest but essential. And for a time, it seemed like the railway's future in Plymstock was secure. But as we know, this was not to last. A pivotal component of Plymstock Station's operations was its signal box. This modest structure, perched beside the tracks, served as a nerve centre, orchestrating the safe passage of trains through the station. Inside, a network of levers, pulleys and signals allowed the signalman to control train movements, ensuring that each journey proceeded without incident. These signalmen were the unsung heroes of the railway, their vigilance preventing countless accidents and keeping the lifeblood of industry flowing smoothly. Today, the site where the signal box once stood is very, very difficult to identify. The levers and signals are long gone. Yet the legacy of the signalmen and their dedication to the safe and efficient operation of a railway endures, a silent echo of a bygone era.
We hope you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane with us. And if you have, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And join us again very soon for another edition of Plymouth's Hidden Railways.